Welcome to the 700 Club. Thanks for joining us. Well, we've got a great story for you to start the day. A major win for religious freedom at the Supreme Court. The justices, and this is a unanimous verdict, they ruled in favor of a Catholic foster care agency that wouldn't work with same-sex couples because of religious belief.
Well, the court said the city of Philadelphia was violating the agency's First Amendment rights. Jennifer Wishon reports.
In this case, the city of Philadelphia was preventing a Catholic foster care agency from placing children in families because it doesn't consider same-sex couples. The Supreme Court ruled that's unconstitutional. But many conservatives wish justices had gone further.
I was praying, God, please give a win for the children. This is a win for the children.
It was a unanimous decision, with Chief Justice John Roberts writing the opinion in favor of Catholic social services. The refusal of Philadelphia to contract with CSS for the provision of foster care services unless it agrees to certify same-sex couples as foster parents cannot survive strict scrutiny and violates the First Amendment.
This is a really landmark case for religious liberty. It's about the power of the government, whether the government can force you to change what you believe when you're trying to be a part of the solution, when you're trying to identify a social ill and really be there to make a difference.
Still, it was a narrow decision that stuck to the facts of this particular case and sidestepped the larger question of how to balance religious freedom and anti-discrimination laws in general.
Long term, this battle continues. The LGBT side is anxious to stop people from disagreeing with their worldview about what's moral and what isn't.
The City of Brotherly Love was established by William Penn as a haven for oppressed Christians seeking religious freedom. But critics say in this case, the city targeted a Catholic organization.
It was clear from the factual record that the city had it out for Catholic social services because of their views on same-sex marriage. In fact, multiple justices themselves during oral argument referenced the fact that they were essentially itching for a fight.
And while some argue this hurts gay couples,
I feel sad about it because it still creates a situation where sort of that feels archaic in 2021, where qualified LGBTQ couples can't contract with a government-funded foster care agency.
Chief Justice Roberts points out no same-sex couple has ever sought certification from Catholic Social Services, and if it did, would be directed to 20 other agencies in the city that would help them.
This could have been a broader ruling than what we got, but at the same time, we should be celebrating the ruling that we did get.
And celebrate they are. Although, again, as many have pointed out, this decision applies only to the city of Philadelphia. The bigger issue of religious freedom and anti-discrimination laws has yet to be dealt with. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News.
Well, I do believe this is a stunning victory for religious freedom, and I'm just encouraged that it's a unanimous vote by the Supreme Court. So there's no room for doubt. There's no dissent. Religious institutions have a right under the First Amendment to hold their beliefs. That is a wonderful victory. Now, does it apply to everything that we're dealing with and all the various cases? The famous baker from Colorado is up again in yet another lawsuit, and a federal judge has now ruled that he has to make a cake for a transgender celebration. So, you know, we're going to see continual court battles, but at the same time, if you are a religious organization, if you are a church, this is a stunning victory. Well, in other news, the Supreme Court also issued another major ruling Tuesday. It turned back yet another challenge to Obamacare. George Thomas has that story from the CBN Newsroom. George?
Thank you, Gordon. Hello, everyone. As Gordon mentioned, the High Court ruled 7-2 that the states that brought the case, led by Republicans, did not have standing to challenge the health care law. It was the third time the court ruled in favor of the law, and it could be the last time it faces a major challenge.
Let me say definitively, the Affordable Care Act has won. It's eventually going to be pretty hard to unravel from the system.
Now, the focus in our nation's capital is shifting to another Democratic bill that includes some healthcare components, a new infrastructure plan that would cost $6 trillion. Senate Democrats are also taking up another major priority, an attempt to rewrite our nation's election laws. Democrats argue the measure is about expanding voter rights. Republicans warn it would be a federal takeover of elections away from the states, aimed at keeping the Democrats in power. The measure appeared dead, but now West Virginia Democrat Senator Joe Manchin is offering a compromise. Abigail Robertson brings us that story from Washington.
Just a few weeks ago, it was highly unlikely the For the People Act was going anywhere in the Senate. But now Senator Manchin says he's open to voting for it if a few of his demands are met. But he wants GOP support too.
We have to get it done. It's very important. It will be voted on.
With the filibuster intact, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer needs 50 Democrat and 10 Republican votes to send it to President Biden's desk.
And we're working as we speak with others, including Senator Manchin, to see if we can get a big, strong bill passed.
Republicans strongly opposed the House-passed bill.
Well, the mother of all power grabs is going to fail. This has got nothing to do with improving voting. It has everything to do with locking in perpetual power by the left.
The current bill expands mail-in voting, allows same-day voter registration, outlaws voter ID requirements, creates a nonpartisan process for drawing congressional districts, and establishes a federal campaign finance fund.
Chuck Schumer, he should like this a lot. He has a chance of getting $44 million in your tax money for his campaign. That's wrong. We should never be taking taxpayer dollars and giving to politicians to go run attack ads and win an election.
In a memo circulated from Manchin's office, he said he's open to getting on board if the bill allows limits to mail-in voting, uses computer models to draw congressional districts, requires voter IDs but allows alternatives like utility bills, and leaves out the public financing system for campaigns.
Equally unacceptable, totally inappropriate. All Republicans, I think, will oppose that as well.
Manchin believes federal voting reform must be the result of both Democrats and Republicans coming together. But even with his changes, Republicans aren't on board.
When Stacey Abrams immediately endorsed Senator Manchin's proposal, it became the Stacey Abrams substitute, not the Joe Manchin substitute.
Manchin's also not confident his Democratic colleagues will support his changes, including President Biden. The full Senate plans to vote on the bill next week. Reporting from Virginia, Abigail Robertson, CBN News.
Thanks, Abigail. We head overseas to the Middle East, where Israel is cautiously reopening to tourists after more than a year due to the COVID-19 pandemic. As my colleague Chris Mitchell shows us, the first group received a very special welcome.
Pastor Tom Zelt has led dozens of study tours to Israel, but this time his group held a special honor, the first group of tourists to return after the COVID-19 closures.
We were honored in such a way that I didn't even expect to be greeted with flowers, escorted through the airport.
We were welcomed really, really well by the Israeli government. Everyone's been incredibly friendly. It feels almost like they've given us celebrity status. It's humbling to be here and realize what a difference we're making. I know that our trip alone is not going to make that big of a difference, but it's a sign of the things to come.
A pilot program allowed 20 groups of up to 20 vaccinated tourists each into Israel. That's already been expanded to bring another 1,000 visitors in groups by the end of this month, and then individual vaccinated tourists in July.
We at Israel Experts, we really feel proud and privileged to bring to the Holy Land the first tourist group after the very long coronavirus pandemic.
Most of the people are vaccinated in Israel. We are back to normal.
Members of the group had to undergo COVID testing at the airport, and all visitors must be vaccinated.
I hope that soon we can work on a different system where people can come also that are not vaccinated.
CBN News met up with Zelt and his students from the Concordia Seminary in St. Louis, in Jerusalem's Old City, towards the end of their trip.
We are thrilled to be back in. It's exciting to be the first group in. Everybody has been wonderful and hospitable to us, and it's just great to get back to the place where God did these incredible things for us.
Due to the recent 11-day war with Hamas, Zelt's group didn't know until the last minute if they'd be able to come, and some canceled, but 12 came.
The conflict before we arrived really put us in an emotional roller coaster for a good week. So finally being here, it's a huge relief that it is open and free.
We had some hesitation because of everything that was going on here, fear of safety, and I know my family was concerned.
Hassan Mata from the tourism ministry told CBN News in the year before the COVID-19 outbreak, Israel had some 4.5 million tourists.
We are excited. We wish to see more people. We are working on that, getting more people here, and let's hope that people can come from the U.S. and from other countries also.
Despite the ups and downs, the trip is really about one thing.
I love this place because it's authentic. The places that have impacted my faith and for my children, makes me emotional is that Jesus really lived here.
Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.
Thank you, Chris. Gordon, remarkable that we are here today more than a year and a half after the start of this virus.
It is remarkable, and it's remarkable that Israel is leading the world, both in terms of vaccinations and now being one of the first countries to open up for tourism. That's incredible. It's actually making me jealous, and I'd like to go. If you've ever been in Israel during the height of the season, where you get the full impact of 4.5 million people visiting, and the buses are lined up blocking the road to the Mount of Olives. It would be absolutely wonderful to go right now because there aren't any crowds. That would be a really, really great thing to do. But as it reopens, realize that going to Israel is a great privilege, and it will absolutely reinforce your faith, where you're able to walk where Jesus walked, where the prophets walked, where the kings of Israel walked, where the disciples walked, and see it and handle it and realize this isn't mythology. These are real stories from history. 6 times for the same crime. That's how many times a prosecutor in Mississippi tried a black man named Curtis Flowers. Curtis spent more than 2 decades in prison before he was set free. This atrocity and others like it have the criminal justice system and the prosecutors behind it under fire. So what needs to happen to hold them accountable? Eric Phillips explains.
Prosecutors play a major role in the criminal justice system. Sometimes called U.S. or district attorneys or solicitors, they are powerful arbiters of the law. So the question becomes, how are they held accountable? Some say they're not.
There is no question that prosecution's power right now is in some instances at an all-time high. At the same time, there is virtually little and sometimes no ability to hold a prosecutor accountable.
Brett Tolman, a former U.S. attorney for Utah, sees a major fracture in the system when it comes to prosecutors.
When you have great power, little accountability, and a culture of win at all costs, you are going to see misconduct, you're going to see abuse.
Duffy Stone disagrees. He's the solicitor for South Carolina's 14th Judicial Circuit.
Number one, we have a lot of judicial oversight. If I'm prosecuting a criminal, it is literally impossible for me not to do that without having a judge of some level oversee what I'm doing.
He also says defense attorneys are not shy about calling out prosecutors in court, that the National District Attorneys Association polices its own, and ultimately, many DAs are elected.
The obvious is you don't get reelected. I mean, we are elected by the public just like any other executive branch officer, and we are directly answerable to the people.
But it doesn't always work that way. And the lack of oversight disproportionately affects the poor and people of color. Consider Mississippi prosecutor Doug Evans. He tried this man, Curtis Flowers, 6 times for the same crime, keeping Flowers behind bars for more than 2 decades.
Doug Evans was just a racist. He just focused on me and locked on to me and would not let go.
The repeated prosecutions were for the 1996 murders of 4 people at a Winona, Mississippi furniture store. 4 of Flowers' trials were overturned on appeal, one by the U.S. Supreme Court. The 2 others ended in mistrials. Flowers always maintained his innocence. During the course of the trials, Evans dismissed black jurors at more than 4 times the rate of whites, creating majority white juries.
Doug was using every strike he had against African Americans. And the only time he couldn't is when he ran out. But it was a nerve-wracking. It really was.
In 2020, the Mississippi Attorney General's office dismissed all charges against Flowers, setting him free. As for Evans, he ran unopposed and was reelected to another 4-year term as chief prosecutor in 2019. According to the State Bar Association, he's faced no sanctions.
What you have is a systemic problem. And that is prosecutors have incredible immunity for what they do. They can make bad decisions.
I don't know of any single occupation that is without some bad people and some people that make horrible decisions.
But when prosecutors make bad decisions, they make an impact on lives and weaken the system.
By the deliberate intent of the prosecution to cheat and violate the law. And the discrimination of the jurors was only one strategy.
Tolman feels a lack of accountability applies to prosecutors at all levels. For example, he says federal prosecutors are not subject to the state bars where they practice. They can only be held accountable through the Department of Justice's Office of Professional Responsibility, which does not take referrals from defense attorneys. Even on the state level, prosecutors can usually escape discipline from the state bar by invoking prosecutorial discretion.
Until prosecutors know they can not only lose the case, but they can also be held accountable personally, we will not see the justice system deal with abuse that's going on by prosecutors.
Tolman adds 2 things need to happen in order to address this problem. 1, immunity statutes need to be updated, making it easier to discipline prosecutors. And 2, judges need to be more empowered to not just dismiss evidence, but to hold prosecutors personally accountable when need be. In Washington, Eric Phillips, CBN News.
We're running a series of reports showing how the judicial system, the criminal justice system, needs to be reformed. One had to do with qualified immunity for police officers, that they can violate your constitutional rights. They can do a great deal to you, and they have a lot of discretion in how they use their power. And then if they cross the line and they do that, there's very little downside for them. Here is a whole nother area where there's no downside. If you're a prosecutor, you really have no oversight at all. And that kind of unconditional power always leads to problems. And we've just highlighted some of the cases where it's leading to problems. The culture that these prosecutors live in and the demands on them to get a conviction at any cost, and they're evaluated by their departments on their conviction rate, that is leading to abuses of power. It's also leading to plea deals where innocent people are being pressured to enter into plea agreements where prosecutors are under pressure to literally withhold evidence. And we've had some high-profile cases, General Flynn being one of them. And regardless of which side you fall on that, here you had something where the notes of the FBI investigators were withheld from the criminal defense team. They didn't get that. He was then pressured to get into a plea agreement. He claims that they pressured him by saying that they were going to go after his son for an unrelated issue. And so he stood up in open court and pled guilty, which obviously got the federal judge mad at him, that he would lie to FBI agents in the White House. And that created a series of national stories as his prosecution unfolded, and he tried to withdraw that guilty plea. But there's more than this one. And with General Flynn, he should have had the resources. We're finding out it completely exhausted his resources. But if you're poor, if you don't have the resources to fight, you don't have the ability to spend multiple millions of dollars in a defense, well, then this out-of-control prosecution system, when that lines up against you, you're in trouble. So as a culture, as a nation, we need to rein this in. And the great news is that some members of the team, the prosecutors that you just heard, are standing up to say, we need to change this. This is not a good system. And within any profession, you're going to have some bad players, and there needs to be an ability to call that out and have accountability and have review. And let's back off the pressure for conviction rates, and let's start to have pressure for justice as opposed to convictions. And let's hold ourselves accountable, and let's get the review. I think one needed thing is to allow defense attorneys to raise a flag to say this was improper conduct and then have that reviewed. There's plenty of things that we can do to fix the system. Now, as people, do we have the will to do it? I, for one, say we need to. Well, we've got some breaking news for you, and that's really important news. CBN is hiring. We've got positions in various departments, but one department that we're asking specifically for is our HR department. We need a human resources recruiter. We need some specialists who know how to hire for tech positions at CBN. Our IT team is in need, our social media team, our app team. We need some people, and if you're looking for how to use your gifts to serve the kingdom and would like to work at CBN, we're looking for talented individuals with a passion for fulfilling the Great Commission. So if you want more information, all you have to do is go to cbn.org, and there'll be an online application where you can apply. Tara?
Always the oldest guy dancing in the aisles, and always the one who knew every word to every song. Michael W. Smith's late father was also his biggest fan. So why did his dad get so upset if any one of his songs was not a #1 hit? Well, see for yourself in this exclusive interview with CBN's Will Dawson.
The only time I ever saw him really get upset was when my songs didn't go #1. He just couldn't figure that out. I'm going, Dad, all my songs can't go #1. And he'd go, why not, son? You're the best.
Michael W. Smith's musical achievements span 5 decades. From pop to contemporary Christian music, he's garnered worldwide recognition. And perhaps his biggest fan was his late father, Paul Smith.
He's the oldest guy dancing in the aisle and singing every word to all my songs. He knew every word, every song.
His new book, The Way of the Father, is an emotional tribute to his own father, a man he loved dearly.
As an artist, you know you have something powerful when you're able to get vulnerable. In your book, The Way of the Father, you certainly do that.
Yeah, I do. I learned that from my dad, probably. Whatever good it's in me today, first and foremost is Christ's work in me, but second it's my dad. And so I get emotional a little bit talking about my dad a little bit because he was for me my whole life.
Paul Smith's passion was baseball, where he excelled in the minor leagues before giving up his dream to support his family. Paul coached a young Michael W., and the two shared a bond through the game.
What did you learn through him, through the game of baseball, that taught you biblical lessons?
Well, he never raised his voice. He never got mad. You know, I'll tell a crazy story in there about the Dairy Queen thing. If you won, you got to go to Dairy Queen. And I remember that first game, we got beat 30-0. And my dad walks in the dugout and he just says, and, you know, our heads are hung in shame. We thought the world had come to an end, you know, for these 8-9-year-old kids. And he said, boys, we'll get them next time. Let's go to Dairy Queen. And he did that 15 times in a row. So, and then we won the last game, which was amazing. And guess what? We went to Dairy Queen. When I talk about the book, I said, I think my dad really taught me what God's like in a lot of ways.
Michael credits his father's patience and prayers during a difficult season in his life.
You know, I had a really difficult little 4-year battle with bad choices. And I went through this 75, 79, just drugs and just, I just got deceived. I was in this pit, I couldn't get out. And I knew that was not my destiny. I knew I was breaking my mom and dad's heart. And I think they saw that I was a mess. I was spiraling. And so I remember my dad, he asked if I'd come on the front porch. And he said, son, he said, you're gonna have to pull it together. And I remember my head was just, it was like, I know, Dad. I know, Dad. I know. I know this is not my destiny. I know, Dad. That's all I could say, because he was right. I have to pull it together. And what pulled it together was the prayers of my mom and dad. I'm totally convinced to this day that they saved my life, and that's why I'm here talking to you.
It is a reminder of how, in the parable of the prodigal son, the father was there with his arms wide open, and that was your dad.
My dad's arms was wide open the whole time. That's what I love about the book, because as I said, my dad taught me what God was like in so many ways. And so you take those stories about my dad and you equate that with the father heart of God,
One name that kept coming up through the book was Abba Father.
I love Abba Father. I love calling him. I call him that all the time. But when you get this thing where Abba not only loves you, but he actually really likes you and he's extremely fond of you, it changes everything. It changes the way you look at life. You wake up every day and you feel confident. So when you have that peace, then you just want to go change the world.
Father's Day is upon us, and if you're like me, you're always trying to find what is a gift that doesn't have now, but that would be a blessing. Well, if you're looking for a last-minute Father's Day gift, you found it. Grab a copy of this book. It's called The Way of the Father, Lessons from My Dad, Truths About God. It's by Michael W. Smith, and it's available wherever books are sold. Well, you can find more great Father's Day content on CBN Family. Watch comedy specials from Michael Jr. and Kristen and Danny Kaye. See the history of the holiday. And if you're looking for a delicious meal to cook for Dad, Gordon shows his secrets for a perfectly cooked steak. It's all there on CBN Family, so be sure to download the CBN Family app on your favorite smart device, or you can go to cbnfamily.com. Great opportunity for Father's Day.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the 700 Club for the CBN News Break. The U.S. now has a new federal holiday commemorating the end of slavery. President Biden signed a bill Thursday establishing Juneteenth as the country's 12th national holiday. It falls on June 19th each year, marking the date slavery ended in the United States. On June 19, 1865, Union soldiers brought the news of freedom to enslaved black people in Galveston, Texas, 2 months after the Confederacy had surrendered. CBN's Operation Blessing is helping people deal with drought in Africa. The drought devastated Nampaso's community in northern Kenya. Animals had no water, crops didn't grow, and many families like Nampaso's were struggling with hunger. She and her children went 4 days without food. They were so hungry, they thought they would all die. But she prayed to God because she knows, and she knows that He hears her prayers. And her prayers were answered, thanks to the support of Operation Blessing's partners. After hearing of their situation, Operation Blessing sent food supplies to her village, and a grateful Nampasa and her children sang and thanked God together. You can find out more about Operation Blessing by visiting ob.org.
For years, Rosalba performed death-defying stunts on the trapeze. It was her passion. Well, those days are gone, and now Rosalba has a new passion. So what is it? See for yourself.
For more than 20 years, Rosalba risked her life for circus audiences around the globe, performing as a high-wire artist alongside her husband and children.
When I do some tricks, people go, oh! I enjoy to see people scared, astonished what I'm doing.
After decades of wowing audiences, Rosalba and her husband retired from show business. Financially, they were content. That is, until he passed away, leaving Rosalba struggling to make ends meet. She turned to God for help. It was then her friend Stephen, a church member, gave her the secret to his success.
He says, Everything we have, everything we possess right now is God's. When we use what God gave it to us to bless people, to bless minister, God will bless us abundantly.
He also shared about his favorite way to bless others through the ministries of CBN.
He says, I like to invest for the kingdom of heaven. 700 Club is a kingdom builder to transform people's life, communities, to help the orphans.
Because of Stephen's passion for CBN, Rosalba tuned into the 700 Club, a program that encouraged her faith.
When I was 700 Club, it was helping me to know the Lord, how to seek the Lord, how to know God. My love for God, I cannot explain it. I love God so much. He's been faithful to me. I'm very faithful to God.
That's all it took for Rosalba to fully commit her life to God.
And I became Christian. I says, the same passion I have for my trapeze, I'm gonna have the same passion for my God.
In 1997, a year after she prayed that prayer, Rosalba married Stephen and joined him as a CBN partner. Together, they blessed others through Superbook, Operation Blessing, and Orphan's Promise. Having witnessed poverty within her home country of Colombia, Rosalba quickly fell in love with these ministries.
The kids go to the streets because they don't have no love, no parents, still. That touched me so much that I do anything to help kids. CBN bring doctors, medication. When I said the kids says thank you for what CBN do, thank you for what people is doing for the kids, that made me happy.
Before his passing in 2017, Stephen made one last request, that Rosalba continue his legacy of giving to CBN.
From the bottom of my heart, I want to do it. He knows because we was doing together. But ministers like 700 Club, it's not another one. It's the only one. I know he's not gonna fail me. Always, God provide.
And he'll provide for you if you just put him first. Rosalba learned, Stephen learned. It's one of the great principles, and you find it in the Bible, that when we recognize all things come from him, and therefore to him all things belong. When we have that as a central core position, and you say, well, I'm gonna do it God's way, well, then you walk into one of the great secrets of how the universe has been set up. And Jesus reveals it to us in the Gospel of Luke. He says, give, and it will be given unto you. He will watch over his word to perform it for you. All you have to do is walk in obedience to it. Seems counterintuitive to give. We want to say, okay, well, when I have enough, I'll give. It seems counterintuitive to say, okay, I'll carve out 10% and I'll give it. I'll give it first. I want to honor God with my first fruits. But it's amazing what happens, and you can't explain it. It's just this amazing thing that happens when you come into agreement with the words of Jesus. Give, and it will be given unto you. And then he adds, heaped up, pressed down, running over, for with the measure you use, it will be measured back to you. If you want to start a lifetime of giving, if you want to start a lifetime of recognizing, I need to put God first, give us a call, 1-800-700-7000. If you want to take care of children, if you want to see Superbook go around the world, if you want to see orphans helped, families in need, families in crisis, if you want to see special surgeries, disaster relief, feeding the poor, feeding the hungry right here in America, if you want to see the gospel preached around the world, you're a part of all of it when you join the 700 Club. Now, how much is it? It's just $20 a month. That breaks out to 65 cents a day. Some of you can join at higher levels. We have 700 Club Gold for you at $40 a month. We also have 1,000 Club. That's $1,000 a year. That breaks out to $84 a month. At whatever level, do it right now. Call us, 1-800-700-7000, or you can go to cbn.com. You can give monthly there. There's also a text where you can text the letters CBN to 71777. Now, when you call and join, I've got something for you. It's a wonderful reading of scriptures, verses of salvation, peace, and victory to let you know God is for us. God is for you. And it's yours when you call. It's yours when you join. Give us a call, 1-800-700-7000. It all started with a cough that just wouldn't go away. And soon it left her gasping for air. Angela had a severe case of COVID. Her lungs were failing. Her body was losing strength. So what could possibly make matters worse? Well, Angela was pregnant.
The doctor came in, she's like, hey, based on your chest x-ray, I think that you have coronavirus. And I'm like, what? No way that I have coronavirus.
Little was known about COVID-19 when 27-year-old Angela Primachenko showed up at the ER in March 2020 with a fever and a persistent cough.
I'm like, well, even if I do have it, I'm young, I'll be fine, I'll just fight it off. Like, I don't have any health problems, I'll be okay.
But the symptoms got worse. 2 days later, barely able to speak, Angela was admitted to Legacy Salmon Creek Medical Center in Vancouver, Washington.
I was sitting there and I'm just gasping for air. And I'm like, it's okay, just 5 more minutes. I could just do 5 more minutes. And I'm just looking at the clock. I wasn't thinking like, oh man, I'm gonna die. I always thought like, man, how do I survive?
Angela comes from a large family who were all hoping and praying for a quick recovery. Still, her twin Oksana felt it wasn't going to be an easy ride.
The second she got in the hospital, I realized, whoa, I'm not strong enough for this. Because it was just so scary waiting and you can't be there with her to hold her hand and just to pray with her.
And making things even tougher, Angela was 33 weeks pregnant. For the time, doctors felt the baby, a girl, would be fine. The mother's health was another matter. Angela's OBGYN, Dr. Suzanne Slayton-Milam, points out that a baby at 33 weeks puts a lot of stress on a mother's body, especially her lungs, the organ most vulnerable to the coronavirus.
For pregnant women, we know that this is worse for them. They're more likely to be placed on a ventilator and have intensive care unit admissions because they've lost some of that respiratory lung capacity.
At the time, neither of their lives were in danger, so doctors felt it best to wait as long as possible to deliver the baby. Meanwhile, Angela's lungs had weakened even further, and doctors decided to induce Angela into a coma and put her on a ventilator. Before they did, Angela texted Dr. Slayton-Milam.
Can you please make sure the baby's okay and take care of the baby?
I feel like he put me in this position to take care of her. I had my doctor hat on, but I knew I had the Lord with me.
By then, Angela's family had learned she was in a fight for her life and were now praying for a miracle.
I was totally broken and praying to Jesus. What I had was just a broken heart to God. Be like, God, I'm terrified. We couldn't even wrap our minds around the heaviness of the situation.
They weren't alone. Their community of friends and family were sharing Angela's story around the world through social media.
I actually put it out there for people to pray for us and to pray for Angela and pray for me to do what I needed to do.
After 3 days on the ventilator, Angela's lung function still hadn't improved. So on April 1st, Dr. Slayton-Milam induced labor. In a coma, Angela gave birth to a healthy baby girl, Ava, a name she had picked out months before her COVID diagnosis.
The name means breath of life. And it was one of those things that I can't call coincidence. I think the Lord had this. He knew.
As a preemie, Ava was placed in the NICU. In another part of the hospital, her mother was showing some improvement. Then, on Palm Sunday, Angela started to crash, spiking high fevers.
The doctors told us that she's doing absolutely terrible, be prepared for the worst. And at that point, that's when it's all these images of what would I say at her funeral? How would my life look like without my sister? And she has 2 little babies. I kept reminding myself, like, miracles are normal for you. Miracles are not something crazy for you. It's like just the way you are.
The next day, Oksana and her family got word. Angela was breathing on her own.
Is this real? Is this actually happening? Like, the darkest day ever to turn to like the brightest day ever.
After being taken off the ventilator and brought out of the coma, Angela realized that something was missing.
Apparently, when I was like in that haze time, I was like, where's my baby? You guys took my baby. I don't remember saying any of that.
But staff reassured her that baby Ava was fine. Then, after 16 days in the hospital, including 9 days on a ventilator, Angela went home.
All of the world was praying for me, and I'm just so thankful that, you know, God took me out of that.
I think the first time I saw her, I just started crying. Like, about to lose one of the closest people in my entire life, and then having them back again, it felt like I got like this gift all over again.
It would be 2 more weeks before Angela tested negative for COVID and could finally hold her baby.
I just remember holding her and just crying and just being like, wow, like this is actually my kid. And she was so tiny. She was only 4.5 pounds. And so just being thankful that she's okay. She's definitely our breath of life.
There are few who didn't walk away from this ordeal with a new understanding and appreciation for the goodness of God and the power of prayer.
I was scared like everybody else was with this coronavirus. And I had to face my fears. And the Lord said, if you want courage, I will give you courage. And he threw me in the fire. I just felt like I had the Lord there with me through all of that. And he just guided me.
He's been by my side the entire time, even when I felt like I was alone, or even when I literally was alone, God was still right there beside me.
God hears our prayers. There's no prayer that comes empty. Every single prayer, he holds it close to his heart.
God hears your prayer. The Apostle John said if we pray in accordance with his will, we know that he hears us. And if he hears us, we know that we have the answer to our request. Now, is it God's will to heal? That's a big question. A lot of people have that question. All you have to do is look at heaven. Is there anybody in heaven sick? Answer is no. Nobody's got COVID. Nobody has breathing problems. Nobody has pain. There aren't any more tears. Every tear is wiped away. That is God's will. When you look at heaven, you see God's will. And we are empowered as believers in Jesus Christ. We're his ambassadors, the ambassador of the kingdom, to declare the kingdom of heaven can draw near to you, to pray that the kingdom would come and God's will would be done on earth as it is in heaven. So we're going to pray in accordance with God's will. And we know that when we do that, he's going to hear us. And when we know he hears us, we know he answers. Now, before we pray, we've got some answers to prayer. Here's Linda, who emailed us, watching the 700 Club, June 17. So during the prayer time, Terry had a word of knowledge that God was healing someone's lungs. I've suffered with COPD for 10 years. I claimed that healing. Immediately, I was able to take a full breath. I am praising the Lord for his great love shown towards his people. Thank you so much. Yay, God.
Well, Gordon, this is Linda. She's from Seagoville, Texas. She suffered from arthritis in her fingers. Doing just everyday things was extremely difficult because it was painful just to move them. She was watching this program on June 11th of this year, and she heard you say, there's someone, you've got severe arthritis in your right hand. It's very difficult for you to make a fist or close your fingers. God's healing that. You just felt all that pain leave, all that swelling. Do what you couldn't do before. Make that clenched fist right now and realize it's gone. It's never coming back. After the prayer, Linda could freely move her hands and fingers, and the pain was gone.
Okay, those reports weren't from some faraway time. They were from just the past few days. June 17th, just yesterday. Jesus is the same. Yesterday, today, and forever. Let's go to him. Let's go boldly to that throne of grace, knowing that we will get the answers that we need. Let's pray. Lord, we come to you. We lift everyone in the audience, anyone who has pain, anyone who is suffering, anyone with COVID, anyone with lung problems, anyone with cancer, anyone with heart disease, anyone with any kind of infirmity, in Jesus' name. We speak healing throughout their body. We speak deliverance from pain. We speak healing in Jesus' name. There's someone, you're laying your hand on your left knee, you've got sharp pain on the kneecap and then deep into that joint. God's healing it. He is restoring your knee. You just felt something shift in it. Do what you couldn't do before. Stand up and receive your healing. Terry?
Someone else also, you've been struggling with rheumatoid arthritis. God's healing that for you right now. Just begin to stretch and move as he sets you free.
Amen. If you've been healed, let us know. Give us a call. Here's a word from Ephesians. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as God forgave you.